All right, we are live and now ready for the jingle. Liquidation motivation in Times Square. Liquidation motivation. I'll take you there. No, no. Oh, come on. I'm sure you guys are gonna get hooked and love that new jingle of ours. Before I sing anymore, I want to go through some housekeeping before I bring Tom on and our awesome guest. We have asdonline.com, reg 2026 18. That is our special link. So this way, ASD knows that you came from Liquidation Motivation, that you are part of our nation, Liquidation Motivation Nation. All right. So please click on that link or sign up on that link and register for ASD. So this way we can meet you in March in Vegas from March 17th to the 19th. Also, sign up for our meetup because we're gonna do something. I haven't figured it out yet, but we are going to do something for in Vegas. So please go to liquidationmotivation.com/meetup, and I will text you, give you notification about what we're going to do in Vegas. All right. The last thing I wanted to say is that I still offer free websites to liquidators in our industry and any pallet houses. So please just click on that link or sign up for that link. I'll create a website for you. I have a few like 3 pending right now, and I promise they will get done by Friday. I think that's it. And welcome to Let's Bring in Tom. Thomas Schultz. I had a great weekend. Hey, Tom. Just wanted to let you know that my New England Patriots won.
I lost a lot of money on that game, man. I normally don't bet on sports. I try to stay away from it, but I did bet on the Patriots. They did win, but the spread was 4. They need to win by more than 4, so I got my butt kicked.
We are going to the Super Bowl again. I gotta get another one of those replica rings pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah, and they were so, if I can say this being nice, they were so trash last year. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, maybe 2 years ago, and they've turned it right around. I'm so impressed. I think I'm going to root for them in the Super Bowl. I got to, Awesome. I'm a Northeastern kind of guy. I'm not New England, but I'm Northeast. So,
yeah, but Seattle got some beast receivers. Man, their receivers are so strong. Man, those receivers in Seattle.
Yeah. And who could have predicted this season, right? Who could have predicted this year that it was going to turn out this way? Incredible, incredible. But listen, let's get to liquidation, man. Oh, you got something to say?
Yeah, one more thing is that it was my anniversary weekend this past weekend, and so we had a great time in Bonita Springs. We went to the Naples Zoo next door. Yeah, nice. That was my weekend. Did you do anything?
Happy anniversary. Yeah, I went to Jacksonville. It was my grandson's birthday. He turned 3 years old, so we went out there and had a little party for the little guy. Man, it was a lot of fun. Good to get my whole family together. It's always good to get the family together,
Yeah,
that's why I'm focused on family.
He's in the walking, talking diaper phase. The walking diaper baby phase.
They're getting, that's the age when they start getting fun. They're fun to be around. They're jumping on you. They're playing around. That's the good part, man. When I first became a grandfather 3 years ago, I'm like, I'm the old guy. I'm the old guy now. But I'm getting used. It's you do a lot. People used to like when the first time somebody told me I had a big nose that bothered me. You get over that. Going bald bothered me. Get over that. Everything takes a little bit of getting over it. So I'm over the getting old phase, man. You got to embrace it. Have a good time, right? My life is good, man. I got a great freaking life. I love it. I love life, man.
My 50th birthday is next Thursday.
How does that feel? How does that make you feel?
I don't feel old. Well, my body feels old, but my brain is still my silly self. I'm still, that fun guy. So
yeah,
I'm okay.
You have to be positive at everything in life. You have to enjoy your life, man, because it's not worth it. It's not, all this noise on the outside is not worth it. I mean, I'm dealing with this guy who scammed people over $100,000, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to rest on it, but it's also not going to take me down either. You know, it's not going to bother me. I mean, it is $26,000, and he tried to get me to send him $140,000, but you know, I'm gonna try to prosecute this guy, but you know what? I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep over it. I'm just going to move on and make things happen, man. Make things happen. Yeah. So, yeah, it's all about being happy in life, man. Nothing else. The rest is just noise in a game.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Thank you for that.
All right. So, ready? You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I am super excited today, right? I'm super excited because we have, like, who's on the podcast today? We have, like, the Batman of, is that the right analogy? We got the man, the myth, the legend of liquidation, man. You know, I mean, we've had some heavy hitters on here, but few people make an impact on liquidation like this guy does. I got people in Florida running up to me like, oh, do you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I've met him a few times. He's a good guy. He's a big dog in the industry. So today, guys, we have Mitch from GRP Liquidation.
I am humbled by that introduction. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
No, I'm telling you, that's my story. I get these people. So people try to enter the liquidation business all the time, and they come in here like, oh, do you know this person from 20 miles down the road? I'm like, yeah, they buy from me. Do you know this person from 40 miles down the road? Yeah, they buy from, you know, somebody in Georgia. I know, you know, and they keep trying to find me these deals. But, you know, I've been doing this so long. I've talked to everybody I can and worked out every deal. But so many people come in here and like, hey, do you know Mitch? Do you know Mitch? You know, I mean, and you're, where are you at, Mitch?
We're in Michigan.
I'm in Florida. We're thousands of miles away, and more people come to me asking me if I know Mitch. Mitch can get you great deals. Mitch can get you truckloads. What do you need?
Yeah, I hear them too. Yeah, Mitch. When I said, hey Tom, you want to know who's going to be on the podcast next week? And he was like, who? I said, Mitch. It's like, what? Really? Oh, awesome. Nice. All right, cool.
I was secretly hoping that I'd get the invite eventually. So thank you so much.
Nice.
Well, I mean, we've been watching this when I started, Tom, like I told you. I mean, when I first started in the garage, I was watching Liquidation Motivation on YouTube. So
nice.
You had a great impact on me.
I appreciate that. You know, I love the stories, you know, that I hear from people who, you know, who are successful. I know a lot of people have failed in the business that got in because of my videos, but when I hear the success stories, you know, that really humbles me and it makes it all worth it. You know, it's, you know, it's been 7 years now we've been doing videos. I don't know how long, and we're almost up to 30,000 followers. You know, I know that's not a lot by YouTube standards, but you know, it's humbling and it's fun. And you know, even, you know, and I've formed partnerships because of it. I'm in Georgia because of this YouTube channel. I'm talking to you because of this YouTube channel, you know, and influence just means so much in this industry. And, you know, and you're following that path, Mitch. You're following that path. I see you got your camera guy going. But I guess before we get into that, why don't we talk about, like, what were you doing before liquidation? What was your life before liquidation?
Oh, I did a little bit of everything. Like, it was typically process improvement and or sales related. I mean, I've sold anything from mortgages over the phone to diesel laptops over the phone. I worked in banking. That was really kind of where I first started right out of college. Got my licensing so I could do like mutual funds and stock investments and things like that. I did that through a company. Their name was Scudder Investments. They're no longer. They were in Chicago. Managed bank branches. A little bit of everything. Okay,
yep. So then you decide, hey, was it a side hustle at first, or was it just something you said, I'm going to dive, you know,
this was so COVID. I had, long story short, won't get into all the details, but I've got Crohn's disease, and I get these really bad infections. I almost lost my leg over it. And as soon as that started healing up, like, I was just talking to my wife and I said, I'm going to jump in both feet. I don't know what I'm doing. We've got no money, but I'm going to I started at Goodwill bins, grabbing stuff and flipping it until I could buy my first B stock little 4-pallet, whatever they call them, you know, a target load. And from the gate, I just knew I wanted to make some of it. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think we would be even where we are today, if I'm honest. But one thing I know how to do is work, and I just work.
Yeah.
And I let it take us where it takes us. I mean, it's the industry's always changing. You know, you mentioned visibility. I think that's just super important in this industry. So I knew I wanted to jump in both feet. I just didn't know exactly what that meant.
All right. So you started out Goodwill bins, flipping individual items.
Yeah, just whatever I could find. Yep.
Yeah. So you're working out of your garage. So how are you selling all this merchandise?
It was mostly just marketplace. I mean, I think it was almost an advantage with COVID at that time because everything was just shut down. But we started this group, and it's got like, I think 49,000 members in it now, but I just started on Marketplace, and I literally I call it ground and pound, like every single person that said, hey, is this item available? Rather it was or not, I would message them, just kind of a canned response. Hey, thank you so much for your interest. We've got this really cool group where we offer these liquidated items at a fraction of the price. We'd love you to join it. And I mean, that's how we built it. Just one message at a time.
Nice.
Yeah. And then that kind of came just to be, you know, kind of the central location to move a lot of product. So
out of your garage.
Out of the garage, man.
All right. So you're running out of your garage.
Yeah, the garage, that lasted about 6 months. And then it was a huge leap of faith for us. You know, we didn't have a whole lot of cash flow, but I was able to sublet 450 square feet in somebody's warehouse, and they had a high-low I could use. So I was like, let's go. And it was February. It was just like it is. I mean, it has not stopped snowing here for 2 weeks. And you just got to get it done regardless. There's no excuses. You know, you either go do it or you don't.
Yeah, I see your pictures on Facebook, and I see all the snow there, and I'm like, man, that's why I moved to Florida, man. That's why I know I might bring that up every podcast, but definitely love to move down here to Florida. I don't regret the snow. And man, you guys have been getting hammered. Everybody's been getting hammered this past week, right? Causing shipping disruptions, you know, canceled trucks, all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
it keeps it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So you took the leap of faith. You said, I'm going to take this to the next level. You rent some space. So for you Southerners, what is a high-low?
What is a high-low? A forklift?
A forklift. Okay.
Yeah, I always call it high-low. It's a forklift.
I mean, that makes sense. It took me a second. I'm like, a high-low.
Yeah,
all right.
Forklift.
There you go.
I knew I could get stuff off the truck.
I had to learn some new terminology down here whenever I moved to the South. Like they call shopping carts buggies, you know, I'm like a buggy. What the hell's a buggy? You know, anyways.
One of the funniest stories, just real quick, in that garage. So I ordered a full truck of rugs. Well, I didn't have a high-low or any way to get it off. So I literally took my minivan and I was driving it up and down our driveway, just hand loading them in just as quick as I could. You just got to work with what you got. You just got to start. And I mean, I had people laughing at me left and right, and I just knew I wanted to get it done. I was going to figure it out.
Just tell the truck driver to take a nap. Hey,
yeah, I was just like, look, I'll get you done in 2 hours. I got you. Let's go.
Well, I think we all need those little stories about the struggles to get, you know, some people think we started this with a golden spoon, but I mean, I remember, you know, I had 4 kids, so I had a minivan.
Yep.
So when I would go to work, I'd take out all the seats out of the minivan.
Yes,
so
sir.
It was a Dodge Grand Caravan.
Yep.
Right. In a Dodge Grand Caravan, I could go to the Salvation Army and buy a couch and a love seat and spoon them and slide them into one Dodge Caravan and be able to shut the back. Yep. And then I would go hustle that couch and love seat. I didn't care. You know, the struggles are real with all of us. Even though we might be at whatever level we're at now, we put in the work, the time, the effort, the energy to get to this level.
Yes.
And it's not a year. It's not even 5 years. You know, it's a long time to get to that level. And, you know,
so many ups and downs throughout it too, you know. I mean, there's just, you know, cash flow issues and just, I mean, we've got a box truck that's broke down right now. And I mean, just the weather and all the other stuff. And I mean, there's no excuses. We got to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say that, cash flow issues. It's like, back in the day, it was like your cash flow issues. I only got $5,000 to operate with. You know, you're going like this, and then it goes to 10, 20. You know, now it's, you know, now I got $200,000 to operate with, but it goes down to almost nothing sometimes.
So fast. Oh my God.
You get an opportunity with some loads, and you're like, where'd all the damn money go? But it's just it's like, you know, a hamster wheel of money coming in and coming out.
In and out.
And, you know, especially when you're selling loads, you know, I mean, you don't make much money on each load, and you're putting out, you know, you're putting out $30,000, making $500, but you know, eventually that starts adding up, and hopefully by the end of the month you have more than you started with, right?
Yes.
Cash flow is a
that's
huge
the idea.
Yeah. I had somebody come in my warehouse the other day, and they're like, I want to get the same load every week at the same time and know exactly what I'm going to make. I'm like, don't get in this business.
Yeah.
Don't get in this damn business.
It just, and that's part of it. You know, you really, one of my biggest takeaways is you can get the same load, but it's going to be drastically different the next time, you know, and you really don't know, or at least we don't. We've got an idea of maybe how we're going to move that or what we'd like to do with it. But if it comes in and it's completely different than what you thought, now you got to get creative. You know, you got to figure out how to move that regardless, while maintaining, you know, honesty and integrity, and not just passing off, you know, your loss to somebody else. You just got to eat it. But you really got to be creative in this space, and it's ever changing, as you know. And then with just shipping, I talk to people that are kind of just getting started, and you know, they're like, well, I need to receive this truck at 6 p.m. on a Thursday. And it's like, I can ask, but 9 times out of 10, you're not showing up at 6 o'clock on a Thursday for you. It is what it is. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, or I need it before Thursday so that I can reload my bins for Friday reopening, you know. And I've been there before with people. I'm there probably right now, you know. You know, hopefully I'm ahead of the loads now, but everybody I source is not.
Right.
And, you know, if I don't get the load in, you don't get the load in, and, you know, so you got to have a backup.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have a backup. And, you know, I'll try my best. And if I'm slow to respond to you, it's because I don't have anything right now, you know? and I'm hoping that any minute I get the message that, hey, we got 2 truckloads coming in for you, so that I could tell you. But, you know, that's why I'm not saying, no, I don't have anything. When I don't respond, it really means, hang on, I'm trying to get the loads in,
right.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your phone just blows up all day. I mean, you've got,
man, it never stops, man. It never stops. Which is a good thing, right?
You know, yeah, no, I mean, these are things we prayed for, you know. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was in such a good space in my business previous to opening my new bin store. I was just in a smooth sailing space. I'd get my loads, I'd do my pallet sales, I sell my truckloads, I source my stores. Everything was going smooth, and I was making decent money. But then I decided to do something stupid and open the world's largest bin store. And then I need 4 more loads a week guaranteed, and that's not the easiest thing.
Right.
That's not the easiest thing, especially getting new contracts. I was set in my old contracts, but getting 4 more loads for new contracts, it put me on this mission to have to go buy out loads. And so, you know, I mean, as a broker and a seller and a retailer, I got to go to facilities and say, how many you get in a month? I'll buy them all. You know, I don't see any other option for me. But let's get back to your story. Okay, so you're in the 450 square feet. Now that can only hold 1 truckload, right?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I wasn't even buying truckloads. The only thing that we could afford at that point was just buying the lots from B stock. I mean, I would just go there and try to find something that we thought we could move. And we kind of gravitated towards Target, but, you know, we tried other ones. And I mean, we got smoked 3 out of 5 loads just getting started, and it was, like I said, cash flow was tight. We started and had a couple grand to work with, and that was it. And that was just from hustling the bins for a while.
Yeah. Getting smoked. That's like the story of my life right now, but we can talk about that later. Okay. 450. What's the next step up for you?
So from the 450 square feet, we then were able to just that tenant or that person I was subletting from wanted out. So I ended up with like 3,000 square feet. And at that time, I just thought, I was like, this is it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sell some pallets. We're doing a lot of claim sales in the Facebook group. So just basically the first person to say sold comes and picks it up. And then the space right next to us, another 3,000 square feet opened up. So we were like, well, all right, let's jump in. Let's get it. And then literally in the same parking lot, a retail space opened up. It was like 6,000 square feet. So again, we jumped. And this was like within probably, it was like the first year and a half that we kind of expanded. And recently, about 3 years ago, we opened our door location, which is mostly e-com and whatnot. We've got about 25,000 square feet there.
Wow. That's a big e-com space. That's big.
We're like growing into it, but you know how it is. I mean, you've got to have the inventory there. We're doing some of the sorting and things like that for the whatnot shows. One thing that we've really tried hard to do is we've been curating our own boxes, mystery boxes, because that just seems to be just something everybody wants. So we do that there as well. And then just a lot of the inventory that we use for that is housed there as well. But we're trying to expand our eBay presence right now as well. So that's kind of what door is. And then we've got an overflow. And then we just got the new spot. That's 59,000 square feet. And we're ready to go.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So we're just going to run pallets and bins and claim sales and just kind of bring back that was something that had to take a sideline just for a little bit. We moved everything into those 2 bays, and we're doing pallets out of that 6,000 square feet for probably the last 6 months. And it just doesn't let us. I needed a little more explosive. I want more options, more opportunities, hundreds of pallets on the floor for people to choose from. And this is going to allow that for us. So.
Yeah. I mean, so you have one bin. Do you still have the original retail spot?
That we don't actually. It's kind of weird. And I will say that I feel like that's one of the places we kind of, I don't want to say fail, but I feel like for that retail space, we ended up letting that go about 1.5 years ago. And we just couldn't seem to get the traction. I mean, for the output of effort and then what was coming in, the numbers just didn't align. We just, tried doing a lot of different stuff there, and it didn't work real well for us. And I'm okay with that, I guess.
So what did you try there? What were you doing there?
Basically we were just, bringing in different loads, trying to get a nice variety of anything from, small kitchen appliances, apparel, all those types of things, tools. And we were just stocking the shelves. We were trying to keep it new and exciting. We had a few bins there. Sometimes there wasn't any focus to the bin other than just, you get all that little stuff that you give deals on, They were always like $1 or $5 or whatever. But we were just really trying to do just the traditional retail, but it was tough.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried that, and I don't think I ever want to be in retail ever again. It's like everything I do, I think I want it to be just a fast moving system. Yeah. And even though I might not make as much money off the items, we're just moving. There's always another load to buy. There's always another, pallet to process and go through. But I agree with you. So, what recommendations would you tell somebody that's thinking about going into retail? What did you find to be the hard part of retail?
I found the hard part of retail is it's kind of multifaceted. I mean, you've got to have the manpower to keep up on stocking the shelves. Those got to present well, so you've got to get those quality loads, ideally overstock, so you don't have a whole bunch of like damaged box or returned items that you're trying to push. You want to give variety. I think visibility is huge. And I don't know if this had anything to do with it for us, but there was a couple people doing liquidation here in Michigan before me, a couple bigger ones. And then we kind of jumped into the space, and I feel like Michigan is like the liquidation capital of the United States. They pop up constantly everywhere. So within like a 5-mile radius, we had everybody else as well doing that same retail thing. So I feel like everybody was just taking in loads, and whatever they happen to have, they put on the shelves. So that's kind of hard to market. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to say, hey, we've got this or we've got that. It was more like, hey, we got liquidation stuff here and it's cheaper than retail, and we tried to push that, but we just didn't get the traction. I mean, it was definitely, I just felt like it was very labor intensive for the output.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's so much easier, to run your auction platforms I just call it, you just dump shit in bins and sell it, and,
yeah.
and then just move on, hope you can get the next load. So, which I'm very happy. I just found out I'm getting 3 FC loads in tomorrow, which is awesome, which is going to help me out. Beautiful. But yeah, no, I mean, anybody that comes to me about retail, and I'm a little bit conflicted about a bin store with retail on the side.
Yeah.
Conflicted meaning like I don't really mind it, but I just don't want to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I do it myself in some places just because the nature of the loads I get into that facility, it makes sense. But
right.
I just like I said, I'd rather just dump in the bins. But so you're running a bin store out of your big warehouse?
Yeah, we're just going to give it a shot. I mean, really what I find is we just have so much inventory that, I feel like we have the ability at the price point we got it to, give people some really great options in the bins. And I'm just really hoping that will drive traffic while, our pallets have kind of been like, we weren't going to do pallets. We were going to do retail. And people kept asking for pallets. And now it's just kind of turned into, we're like the pallet people. And,
right.
I love it though. I mean, I love that part of the business. It's a tough part of the business, but I love it. So anyway, we'll be doing, so the claim sales out of our Facebook group multiple times a week. And people really they seem to gravitate. I don't know if it's like the thrill of the hunt, whatever pops up, whoever says sold first gets it. But we try to be very intentional about, hey, we're doing claim sales in our group at such and such time. We try to get that out there and visible and make sure we're reminding people what time that's going to be going down. And I mean, we really do well with that. It's not traditional. It works. People like it. It's fun. And then, we're going to give it a go with the bins and see what happens. And then just really, we'll bring in a lot of pallets again. So we've got something for everybody.
So your claim sales. So basically you're on Facebook Live and you're saying,
no, not even live. Like, so we have our group and it's, got about 40,000 people in it. Right here. And we just literally do claim sales. So, we'll list this for X amount of money, and the first person to say sold gets it, and they've got to pick it up within 48 hours. And so we've got 2-3 ladies that's what they do, is just post stuff all day long.
Yeah, that worked on Facebook Lives, and out of a little shed, out of a little barn, and he's really crushing it. And so you're doing it through a group. You know what I learned? I learned like So we do whatnot. We do high bid. We do all these auctions, and then this auctioneer ended up breaking up his partnership with another guy. And so he came to me and says, I want to do live auctions. And, I'm thinking like, what are we, dinosaurs here? Nobody does live auctions anymore, right? And then he comes in, and so we agree to something. He comes in and starts a live auction, and I get 150 people a week in this live auction showing up at my warehouse, looking at all my furniture while they're there, looking at pallets, and I just learned that, I don't know if the right saying is there's an ass for every seat, but like there's an income stream for some people don't like to get on whatnot.
Right.
Some people don't want it to be shipped. Some people don't like high bid. Some people don't like live auctions. Some people, but it's like you almost need to have in your business like all these different methods to just get rid of merchandise, because that's our only job is 100%. To get rid of merchandise and move on. So, and you found a niche through a Facebook group. That's super interesting.
And that's kind of to your point. I feel like, in so many businesses, and I think even in what we do, people say, find that niche, find that specific thing. But I feel, at least personally in my experience, liquidation, I just say we're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what will stick. We try all these different things, and sometimes they're tough lessons, and sometimes we're like, wow, that works. And let's do more of it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think, Esteban, we need to do a video on, so we have 13 points of revenue in my liquidation business. So I need to define that and do a video on it just to show like how the different, show people how you can make money at all these different angles in this business. So, I like this Facebook platform. After we talked to the guy last week, I thought about Facebook Live. Now you're saying groups. I think they both work, but it's interesting that you're creating a group that is specific to you versus like I was thinking like maybe you're putting on like the yard sale groups or something like that, but no, you created your own group.
Yeah. And that's like in the beginning when we were talking about, it was 100% organic. It was just anybody in marketplace in any of those groups said anything about one of our products, I would just send them to the group, just give them a link. And then I kind of forgot to mention, we had a booth for a short time, like a consignment booth. So I would just plaster that up with, QR codes and stuff like that. Hey, maybe we don't have what you want here. Join this group. We're listing stuff every day, blah, blah, blah. And it just was the thing that we really pushed. And it worked, I guess.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. That's super interesting too. So my cameraman, Paul, has 2 booths at like I think they call it a peddler's market.
Yeah. Something like a flea market or whatever.
So he doesn't have to man it.
Yeah. Right. So they just basically, would pay, and then I would put my booth number on, the items, and I had to pay rent or whatever. But that to me was my way to maybe move some of the stuff that was kind of like a bin idea, but I didn't have enough for bins. I couldn't afford bins. So I just thought, man, I can do this. And as long as it pays the rent, I'm still moving product. I think transactions, like, it is probably the most important thing in liquidation. You got to have transactions. Money in and out, money in and out. You are going to lose sometimes, you're going to win sometimes, but overall, when you've got that much inventory and you're moving it in all these different channels, you should be winning. I know it's not that simple, but that's kind of the way that we look at it. I'm always driving transactions. We got to have money coming in and out.
Yeah. So the way I look at that, let's say, for example, you're renting a booth for $200 a month. You're keeping product full in there. You're making a little bit of money, probably not a ton of money. But if you were to just ask them to hang up a poster to market your company, they would charge you probably more than the $200 a month. For marketing campaigns. So you get a booth and free marketing at the same time. Exactly. And so you get the thousands of customers that come in are going to see, go to my Facebook group, go to my whatnot, go to my, I love that idea because, those people, if somebody's in a peddler's mall they're a bargain shopper anyway.
Amen.
That's your clientele there,
Yeah.
right? Listen, my wife would never go in a bin store. She would never go in a bin store, but
Right.
I get that. Some people don't like the chaos or dealing with something that could be broken or returned or something like, or a little dirty. I get that. Half the world hates us.
Yes.
But the other half loves us.
Yeah.
Loves us.
Yes,
And if you're already in a peddler's mall that's getting thousands of people a week, yeah, that's genius. That's
Thank
genius.
you.
Esteban, that's on our list now. Take care of that. He's giving me the thumbs up down below. So, man, yeah, that's genius. What was the other thing that you touched on there? I think I forgot. But okay, so now so now you got the big warehouse. You're doing a bin store. You're doing pallet sales. Talk to people about like mistakes or your strategy with pallet sales. How are you working with that?
Pallet sales, I feel like there's so many people that, will come to me and be like, well, I just want to sell pallets like you do. Then you don't have to touch it and you just make the money. And it sounds great in theory, but you got to look at a load, and there's probably, I'm just throwing this out there, but typically 6 pallets that people aren't going to want to pay for because they don't look good enough, or they're not pretty enough, or enough value that they can see. So I feel like having the volume of pallets helps me take on the losses I need to still move the product and get it out and give people good deals, while being able to be profitable in pallets. I tell people just flat out, I think if you want to run a pallet store, that is the toughest business in liquidation. I think you got to have other things working. But we like to bring in a lot of the stuff that it took a while to get people to trust, but I'm big into finding something that maybe not everybody else has, proving the value, showing the value, and then getting people obviously to buy it so they can go make money.
Right.
I mean, one of the big things we talk about, and it's no secret, is, I tell everybody, if I can do it, you can do it. I don't really hold back any punches. And I just kind of explain what I did to get started in the business. And I think that's really driven a lot of traffic for our pallet store. I think, like I said, it's a tough business model, but volume is what kind of saves our butt most of the time.
Yeah.
And we've taken in food loads that we got to dump, $12,000-$15,000 loads that, might, have contaminants in it, you know what I'm talking about. And it just goes in the dumpster. What do you do?
I'm thinking about doing a new YouTube channel about the critters in my warehouse, man. I got rid of all the food, man. I don't have any food. And if an employee leaves a bag of chips around, I have to freak out because
I flipped out 2 days ago. Combos left open. I was like, come on, guys, we can't
especially listen, when it gets cold, these critters go look for warmth, man. Up north, I grew up in upstate New York, and when somebody said there's a mouse in our house, everybody was like, yeah, everybody has mice in their house. It's wintertime, down here it's a little different, but man, we got some crazy critters down here in Florida. Shit I've never seen before.
You got
in my
like
life.
the snakes and all that too. So iguanas.
Hey, my first month in Florida, so we have a landscaper, right, who's does our lawn, and he's mowing out back, and he comes up with like a 7-foot black mamba. I don't even know what it was, a black snake. I'm like, what? I'm used to like little grass snakes and shit. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is that? What is that? You just got to get used to that stuff down here. But the critters are a big, people like, I got a complaint from somebody yesterday saying, there was mice in their pallets. I'm like, mice are looking for warmth. If it's a clothing pallet, they're probably in there. It's just, you can't blame the liquidator for that kind of stuff, guys. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. If they're unkept, if they're don't have a clean warehouse, if you can blame them for that. But you're gonna get mice, rats are in Florida. those things are just common.
Yeah.
So when people complain about them, I just like, come on, man, come on. You can't complain about that stuff. That's not his fault. Nobody wants to have those things in their warehouses. But,
and all you can do is all the things, I mean, we've got a company, like a professional company that we work with that come and they do, every 2 months they're refilling and emptying. And I mean, we do every precaution. And then we definitely, just like you, Tom, I try to stay completely away from food. Like we'll take in candy loads here and there and run that on Whatnot and do boxes or whatever. But
yeah,
food scares me every time I bring food in. I just don't really like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Somebody gave me a good deal on a food load. Worst mistake ever. It took me 6 months. I'm still yesterday I ordered an arsenal of killers on Amazon to get rid of my pests.
Yeah.
An arsenal. The bucket, the snapping trap, the glue traps, and then also the one where they go in and get trapped and you have to go let them out in the field.
Yep.
So I'm going all out on these things. All right, let's stop talking about these things. Yeah. So just be careful of food, everybody. Be careful of food.
Yes.
I mean, if you can move it in and out, it's one thing, but don't let it sit because those critters will find it. They'll find it. Man, where we get off on a tangent there. All right. So you're doing the bin store. We're in 59,000 square feet now. Awesome deal. How is real estate up in your area? I mean,
it's not bad.
I couldn't afford.
It's honestly it's pretty comparable to Florida, honestly. I lived down there for a short time and it was, I mean, cost of goods was about the same. Real estate, cost of warehouse space, it's all pretty close to Florida. I mean, it's a leap of faith. I mean, obviously we're closed all week right now and doing all the things that we're doing. So cash flow is tighter than ever, but this was a big jump for us, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I wanted to go in both feet and I want to make an impact and build a legacy and, all those things.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, and it's all about hard work and you know that. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. And I'm now sleeping on my couch in my warehouse and I'm up. You can catch me on this stream at midnight because I'm still working with people trying to get deals done. So yeah, if you're willing to put in the work, this business can be very, very fruitful for you. Very fruitful for you. Yeah. So,
I think 100% it's at work, man. You got to be willing to do the work. And a lot of people, I think, don't understand just how much work goes into it, and I'm not saying that like in a negative aspect, but I mean, I'm the guy at 8:00 at night. There's a semi on a Sunday, had no idea it was coming. They want unloaded. What do? You get in your car and you go unload it,
Bring it, baby.
It is what it is.
Bring it.
Do it.
Well, I mean, but that semi can mean a few $1,000s for you, right? So as an employee who's making X number of dollars an hour, they're not feeling incentivized to go and load that semi. But you and I are, this is my life, man. This is my life. To everybody outside of this office right now, it's just a temporary part of their life. It's just temporary. For us, it's full time. So, I mean, but you got to have somebody willing to, and you hope you can, if you're here, you hope you can get some of your employees up to that I give a shit level, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And actually take care of your business. So,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hired my first warehouse manager and I've always ran it myself, but I just hired my first warehouse manager and I need her to be as tough as she can be. I learned a lesson. I opened up this new bin store. I brought on some partners and they operate that thing to a T. I mean, like when I go in there, I hear over the radio, right? We implemented radios everywhere. Like, why are you two talking? You guys know you can't be together, and I'm like, damn,
wow.
Like you guys are hard on these people. And my partner's like, hey, we have to set the expectations early so they know what's acceptable and not acceptable.
100%.
Can't have their phones on them. They can't, they have them. They clock in at this time. They go on break. They're so regimented. that they taught me a lesson about what I'm doing wrong over here.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I brought in a warehouse manager to kind of crack the whip for me here at this warehouse to get it to the level that they're running my bin store, you know. So it's a good lesson. I just don't have time. I'm always in here working loads. And, you know, now I got my security screen above me. How do you handle your warehouse operations, Mitch?
We, you know, what you're talking about right now is honestly just hitting home, 100%. We, basically are in the process. We've got a person in place now that is implementing all the processes, all the expectations, just like you said, right down to like break times and clocking out. We just added it's like a key fob. So it's got an individual, how many times are people going in and out, you know, if maybe you've got a theft problem, and that's going to now show that person going in and out maybe way too many times, and why are you doing that, you know? I feel like we also have a consultant who she's amazing. She does a lot of work for us and helps with you know, implementing what we need to do in the warehouse day in and day out. We're kind of like a toddler business, maybe teenage, adolescent, and we're trying to be grown up, you know, and we are making huge strides. But we were talking a little bit earlier, because we are implementing these things and because we are holding people to a standard, we have a lot of people that they don't like that. So they're choosing to leave. And that's okay. But we're really looking for the right people that care enough, that are going to work in these expectations and understand why. And, you know, that's kind of where we're at. We've got people that do the sorting. We've got people that are making boxes. We've got the management, and then we've got leads for like our shipping as well as our whatnot. So, you know, trying to empower people to take a little off our plate, because I'm a lot, I think, like you. I can't keep myself out of that warehouse. Like I want to be a part of it. I want to be in it, and I feel like I add value. But if you're just doing that, you can't expand into things like this, you know?
Yeah.
So we're still, we're learning. We're learning.
Yeah. And you know, if you can set your culture from day one, that just makes day 2 and day 100 a lot easier. You know, that's where my mistake was, is you know, don't get me wrong. When I go to the warehouse, everybody scurries around. When I turn a corner and there's 3 people together, they scurry around and get to work. Yeah. But when I look at my video cameras and I see 3 people standing around, you know, I know when I go to Vegas for the shows, nothing gets done. And so it's, you know, it's important to have that, you know, to have that person that's going to run the business for me. And you might, I mean, I don't know if you're going to hire a manager for your new warehouse, but 59,000 square feet, that's a hefty project there.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. I mean, we're interviewing people, and then I've got a guy, Kyle, who he's kind of, we call him the pallet guy now, because I used to be the pallet guy there all day, every day. And he'll be overseeing for the most part, but you know, he's probably going to need another set of eyes under him, just to make sure we can keep our eyes on everything. And I think you just hit the nail on the head too. When we first started bringing people in, it was just very lackadaisical and like trying to like create like that environment that almost doesn't exist. Like you think you can make this wonderful place where everybody can just do their thing and they're going to do hard work and whatever. But you've got to have systems. I mean, systems work for a reason. There's a reason an NBA basketball player shoots a free throw the same way every time. You know, it's just those things work. And sometimes people don't realize that, but those little things add up to just huge, huge results.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're preaching right there, baby. You're preaching 100%. That's great. You're right.
Preach
guys.
home.
Yeah. I like how you know, I mean, I remember in college talking about the growth span of a business going from toddler, child, baby to adult, and then to death.
Yeah.
And then to death. And so, you what's the next level for your business, guys? And you're right, systems, organization. We used to call it pop doctor when I was back in the corporate world, but I was like in fast food. I'm a restaurant guy.
Yeah.
People, organization, product direction, and restocking.
Yeah.
Pop doctor. So
yeah.
Can you get that in your business? Can you implement that in your business and and take yourself to the next level? So I love that advice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where do you think the future of GRP liquidations is? If you can predict 10 years from now, what are you doing in 10 years?
I want to be on a beach. No, I will work till I die. Like, it's just in me. So, we're really trying to get our website presence and our visibility out there more. I had a camera guy I was working with, and now we're kind of switching gears and looking for some people to just help us with media. I really want to have that presence of just basic education and visibility and clarity on just what liquidation is. I love that piece of it. I love the content. So I'd really like to dive into more of that. Our website, we really love doing the mystery boxes. There's just so many people out there that just love mystery boxes. That's really something that we're leaning into. I've never been a big truckload seller guy, but now that I'm trying to take a back seat and kind of task people and stay not so in the mix with the day-to-day, I've really been focusing on just, making connections, talking to people, because it really wasn't something I did a whole lot of. I just kind of had, I'm a loyal guy. So like I've got my few core people that I buy from, and that's just who I stick with. I don't try to step on toes or go around them or anything like that. I feel like it's really important to have friends in this industry. I love the education piece. We actually have a resellers academy that I spent 50, 100 hours filming. We've got a lot of irons in the fire, and I've got people in place that are going to start pushing the ads and things like that for us with that. So I'd really love to see that just have like thousands of members.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Let's bring Esteban on, because I said, Esteban, we should talk about some marketing with Mitch, because I know that you put a lot of emphasis in marketing, and we can have a three-way conversation on what do you think. So maybe you can talk about the evolution of your marketing, where you're at and where you like to grow it to, where and how important is marketing in this industry.
I mean, I think visibility is everything. One of the things that I really felt like helped our group grow to where it is I was committed to do a live video every single day. Like, whatever that was, basic education on a truckload coming in. Hey, we've got these loads coming in, whatever. And I really feel like that was one of the things that kind of just, I guess, made people know who I am to a certain degree. Marketing wise, we were really turning it up. I had a guy that he was great. He was doing a good job. He had some other projects that were kind of taking precedence, and we just decided to part ways. So I am definitely on the hunt to get back to creating more content. In a perfect world, I would love to have a YouTube that, even at your level, the 30,000 people, I mean, I think that's amazing. I think it is super, super important. One thing that I preach to my staff all the time, like, just because you posted something 2 days ago doesn't mean that those people remember that. Like, you have to put it in their face, like, all day long. And even if you're only getting 5 more people seeing that from the second post, it's 5 more people that might come by, so the little stuff adds up. I don't know if that directly answers the question. I know how important it is. It's one of those things that I try to be as visible as possible on all social platforms.
Yeah. No, I mean, that does make a lot of sense. I hope my business partner's not on here, but like he complains, to Esteban about like, hey, that's not working. That's not working. But you think about like Mr. Beast, right? His first video to get over 1 million views, I think he sat down and counted to 1 million.
Yeah.
That's how simple it was. But before that, he put out thousands and thousands of videos.
Right.
And put the time and effort and work into it. You start an advertising campaign that gets 10 or 20 views. Man, you just keep doing it. Keep doing it. And, Gary Vee will say it all the time, put 100 points of content out every day, and that's repurposing a lot of what you do. But Esteban, what kind of feedback you got on this?
I feel like we also have to pay attention to why are we posting something. So, and some of it is going to have engagement, some of it's not. And we got to figure out, is that important? Is it important to have engagement on this particular post, or is it more views that we need more, or do we need more clicks on it? So we have to have more intention of and awareness of what type of content we put out there.
Yeah. I mean, I know like little Daniel, and I say little Daniel, he's just a young guy. That's why I call him little Daniel. But, in Texas, like he posts content all the time. And like we supply him with like a hoverboard load. So he does a Facebook Live riding around on a hoverboard, showing all of his pallets. He's just such a good kid.
He's a good dude. I like that guy.
And he's embraced it. And if you don't want to do social media, I don't think you should get in this business. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are you going to pay for TV ads or radio commercials? I don't know what you're going to do. Anybody in this business, whatever level of social media you're at, and I'm talking to you, Mitch, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. You can 10X that. You need to 10X that. And we're probably at the top of the social media game. But, I mean, so everybody else is below us. Guys, you need to 100X that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to 100X that. And if that's what it takes. I mean, Mitch, how much time have you put into marketing? You're everywhere. I mean, I can't turn on anything without seeing you somewhere doing a short or doing mystery boxes or, and having girly fans around Florida saying, "Oh my God, do you know Mitch?" I feel like I'm cool because I know Mitch,
Oh man, that's amazing. I don't know. That just humbles me so much, man. It's all day, man. This phone, it is in my hand all day. I mean, somebody was kind of giving me shit. I think he was borderline mocking me, but I do unboxings on my bed. You know what I mean? Like my wife is sitting right next to me. I do the little tripod with the light, and I just try to show people I'm big into authenticity, and I think if you're just who you are and you bring that 100%, like people will gravitate towards that. People, some are going to like you, some are not. I'm not for everybody. I know that. I'll be the first to tell you, but I do know that there's a lot of people that appreciate, my vulnerability, my authenticity. I mean, I've shared some deep, dark secrets of my past, and what? A lot of people use that against me. But that's not who I am today. I'm here today. So whatever happened back then doesn't matter. But I just think you got to be authentic and be willing to get your face out there. It doesn't have to be your face. I mean, maybe your operational manager loves to do videos. I mean, you just got to get out there, all day.
And so many people talk about it. So many people talk about, I'm going to get started tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
Tomorrow I'm going to get started. Oh, you are.
Yeah. In a lot of, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just there's so many people, to your point, that well, I got to do this first, or like one of the things with our pallet buyers, usually it's the wife that's game, and the husband saying this isn't going to work, and the wife will tell me, well, I have to sell everything on this pallet before I can get a new one, and it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're losing all your momentum. Like you make your money back and go buy another pallet. Make your money back, go buy another pallet. Like, oh, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have the space. You're going to find a reason you can't, or you're going to find a reason you can. I mean, our literal first load, I had everything in my living room. Like I literally opened up my house to just random people, and we had a yard sale in the house. Like,
yeah.
I moved a lot of product that day. You just got to figure out the way to do it. I mean, I don't know. It's never going to be perfect. You got to work at it. And you got to put the effort in. It's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work. You just need it to work more than it doesn't work.
Exactly.
They always say fail forward. So
learn your lesson and try it a different way.
And keep pivoting along the way. Just
because the loads change, like we talked about. I mean, what I could get when we started is very different than what we can get today. But some in better ways and some kind of worse or whatever. But you really got to be able to pivot. You really have to be able to maximize. You got to take what you get and not throw a fit and figure out how to move it.
Let me ask you a question. So, I owned a business. One time I bought a restaurant on a golf course, and I golfed more than I worked in that restaurant. I became a great golfer, though.
Yeah.
But I failed, and I went bankrupt, and I lost all my money, at the age of 29. Everything that I worked for up until that point, I lost. I went bankrupt, went back to college. That was kind of like the pivot in my life between like, hey, Tom, you can just be average on everything you do and try to, work your way up, or you can take it to the next level and bust your ass and find success in 10 or 20 years. That was my point. My wife, how do you think my wife probably thought about me at the time?
Right.
At the time I had 2 kids, ended up having 2 more. So, her husband's a failure of his own accord.
Yeah.
It wasn't anybody else's fault. It wasn't the weather, wasn't the economy, wasn't the customers. It was my fault. And when people come to me all the time saying, oh, nobody's got money out there, the economy sucks, I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
Right.
There's money everywhere out there. There's so much money out there to be made. And, it's like Grant Cardone says, who's got my money, right? You got to go out there and find it. But back to my point is like, what was the pivoting part of your life when you said, you know what? If it's to be, it's up to me, man.
Yeah.
If this is going to happen, I got to fucking put my head down, get my ass to work. I don't know how long, 10 years. I worked 7 days. I own 2 restaurants, my liquidation store, at one point I'm working 7 days a week, but, and unfortunately my younger kids didn't see much of dad that time of their life, which I do regret. I didn't have a good work balance, but now, now I can take care. We can do whatever we want now because I put that time in. What was the pivoting point in your life where you said, you know what, I got to make this happen?
Man, it was literally just I'd worked for a couple small businesses. I mentioned the one where I sold laptops over the phone, and I was finding myself, I'm 40 years old. I don't have any money. I can't pay my bills. And I just decided I've always been a worker. I figured out how to make money for all these other people. I was successful in banking. I would take top 10% in the nation 3 years in a row. I was like, okay, Mitch, you're in your 40s. I'm borderline midlife crisis. I was actually working demolition for a buddy of mine, making $12 an hour. And then I had this whole thing with my leg. And I was like, the time is now. Like, I am done making excuses. I'm done telling myself I don't have the money. I'm done telling myself, oh, I'm not smart enough to do this or whatever. It's giving me goosebumps, man. And I literally just was like, I've got this van. I've got a couple bucks, and I'm going to go to that bin store every single day, and I'm going to find a couple things I can sell. Rather I make $5 on it or I make $30 on it. That is what I'm going to do. And I just did it nonstop all day, every day. I mean, this is another thing. Like, I would go to the well-to-do areas in Grand Rapids, drive that caravan around. Oh, there's a couch, I'm shoving it in there, I'm going to make $50, you got to start somewhere, and you got to understand that those little things will turn into big things. And to your point, Tom, I mean, within reason now, if you want to take your kids on vacation, you can, if you need today off because they have a recital, you can go to that, but it took a lot of sacrifices to be able to do that today. And I mean, same with my daughter. I mean, she's 7, And, when's daddy coming home? Well, and we'll FaceTime, and it crushes me, but I'm trying to create something that'll take care of her, and take care of my wife and my son, and just, it ain't easy. It's hard being broke, and it's hard making money. So you can pick which way you want to go. And I think that's, I think Alex says that.
Choose your hard.
You got to choose your hard, and there are so many excuses. I mean, and this is not like a complaint towards anybody, or like, there's all these glass ceilings that people have, and all these reasons they can't do it, or all the reasons they got to wait. And stop waiting and just do it. And you don't have to have all the answers. I tell people still today, every day, I mean, I just work. One more post, one more this, one more that, sort one more pallet. Like, just, it adds up. That volume and that intensity has made us what we are today. 5 years. Well, 5 years of doing this, are we the biggest, the best? I don't know. I always say I just want to be my best. It doesn't mean that I'm better than you or anybody else, but if I'm not giving 110% every day, I feel like a failure. Like, I do. I've got to put in the work every day.
Yeah. Preaching right there, baby.
Sorry, man, I get all intense.
That's good, man. No, that's going to be an awesome short right there, man. That's going to be
I'll post out there, like, it'll be a snowstorm and everybody's calling in. So just for the simple fact to show people, I get in that truck and I go to work, and then I'll take flack on it on social for saying that I'm not safe or whatever. Everybody's got an opinion, but I'm going to go to work. I'm going to show up.
We were, when I had my restaurants, we were always the person open. And I said, listen, everybody else shuts down. We're going to be the only ones open.
Somebody's coming.
Around the warehouse, it's like, they're like, hey, it's Martin Luther King's birthday. We got that day off? I'm like, I'm not taking that day off. I'm going to work.
Yep.
I take Christmas and Thanksgiving off. That's it. That's it. I'm going to work every other day because somebody's got my money, man. Somebody's got my money. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop till I stop.
Right.
If that makes sense. I have a 4-year plan, maybe to exit liquidation and do my museum project, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because I change my mind every other day, or I change my pants, man.
I think
I look back at some of my old
just
videos.
Wired that way. You're always like, I mean, you're going a million different miles an hour in different ways, and somehow it all just comes together.
Yeah. And it's not bad to tell everybody it's not bad to pivot. Like I said, I was looking at some of my old videos where I recommended doing one thing, and now I'm doing something totally different. But once you get into any business and you're willing to work hard, there's like an evolution to this business, where you just keep stacking on better and better and more profitable things if you're willing to work hard. And, I think you start, like you said, flipping individual items and going to pallets and the truckloads. Maybe you try to private label something on Amazon. Maybe you try to, maybe you open up an eBay store. Now we have all these auction sites. Now we have Facebook Lives. We have Facebook groups. There's all these different ways to make money, and you just got to start that evolution. And in the meantime, it's content.
Yes,
it's hard work I would say it's hard work first, and number 2, it's content.
Yep,
it's getting your name out there, right? And then it's just when you started talking about buying truckloads, I have some relationship with people that find me truckloads, right? And our deal, I have a deal with them. They find a truckload. Every truckload they sell me, I give them $500.
Yep.
And then I'm not dealing with greedy brokers that are charging $5,000 markup, and these guys, Buster, and I think Matt mentioned it. Matt Lavelle mentioned it when we talked to him. Is like, if I'm gonna do that work for you, if the brokers do that work for you, and you get a bad load, don't give them a hard time.
Right.
Don't give them. If you give them a hard time, they'll never try to find you another load. And I'm dealing with that right now with a very small load that I sold. But the guy got upset about the load. He didn't like the load. But I'm trying for you. I try hard. I talk to thousands of people a week. I'm trying for you. So So Mitch, if you start looking for loads, give your old buddy Tom a call. You know, if you
I
find some good
will.
loads.
I think we need to talk anyway. It's one of those things, like, I've always known about you. I know we've talked here and there a little bit, but I mean, I think we need to bring some intentionality into, you know, just our conversations and see if we can help each other for sure.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, man. Definitely 100%.
I
But
think
okay,
too,
so we go ahead.
one thing, just, I don't know if this sticks out, because we were talking, you were talking about loads and then brokers. Like, when I started this business, I thought this industry was like so vast. Like, there were just all these options out there. And I mean, it really comes down to, it's a small little group of people. You know what I mean? There's a few people that kind of hold the control of vast majority of what's out there. And I think it's super important for people to understand in this business. I will pay more for a load with somebody I trust than getting it from somebody I don't know well. You know what I mean? Because there is so many scams out there. There are so many people that will put $4,000 on a load just to put $4,000 on a load. And you got to find the ones that you trust, you build those relationships. And I feel like in this industry, relationships are just very, very important.
100%. And if I can add on to that, you know, it kind of goes back to like pallet sales. Pallet sales is the same thing as truckloads. The end buyer has to make money.
Right.
If they don't make money, you're done. I mean, I had an example where, so I sell Dollar General pallets in my warehouse for $400. And this guy comes to me and says, hey, I got a buyer down the road who wants 12 of them. I'm like, fine. So he takes the 12. And then I start getting complaints from this buyer. I'm like, but I didn't sell him. And she showed me the invoice. This guy sold them to her for $650. You know, and made $3,000 driving from my warehouse an hour away to deliver them. I'm like,
wow,
dude, there's no way anybody makes money on a $650 Dollar General pallet.
No,
there's no way. You know, so you can't be greedy in this business. If you're greedy, you're going to be a one-hit wonder if you're greedy in this business. If you're doing pallets, if you're doing truckloads. Listen, would you rather sell me one truckload and make $2,000, or would you rather sell me 100 truckloads and make $500 a piece?
Exactly.
I deal with all these people that make $500 a truckload, and they just keep bringing me deals. If it makes sense, I buy it, and then I buy it all. I buy as many as I can from them. So. Yeah,
I tell people, I'm like, you're tripping over dollars to pick up dimes. Like, you're just chasing that short money, and it's not going to last long. Typically, I mean, you have to make sure those people are making money and you're taking good care of them. You have to.
Yeah, and so I want to touch on one more thing about the industry before we get to the questions in the chat. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're going to do that in just a couple minutes here. But, you know, and it's so important for everybody to be careful out there in the industry. This is the second time that I've seen it in the last few months where somebody who is reputable is actually trying to do a con on the industry. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I bought some loads from a guy named Brad in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they were delivered, and they were horrible. They were absolutely horrible, not as described. And I paid $26,000 for the truckload, and I probably have to throw 90% of it away. It looked like bin store leftovers. Imagine paying $26,000 for bin store leftovers.
I think I saw your pictures. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I put a post out there. And I found out that his con netted over $120,000. And I don't even know if there's more people than that. You know, and these are big name people that have been, that got scammed in this business. And so I'm saying we're not all immune to that, guys. We're not immune to that. I am getting together a list of everybody that got scammed, and I am, you know, I'm gonna go to the FBI and see if I can get some sort of fraud investigation opened up on it. But everybody can get scammed, guys, even by legitimate people. So watch yourself out there, guys. Watch yourself. And this guy tried to get me to send him $140,000 to buy 7 more loads. I could not believe it. And I was about to do it. But then something in me said, hey, let me get the first load in, and then I'll pay the next 7, you know?
Right.
I was about to do it. I can't imagine that I'd have been out $160,000 to one guy because he's fucking broke and didn't manage his own money properly. But I'm dealing with that right now. And if anybody else got scammed by this guy, let me know, reach out to me, because I'm trying to compile as we, if it's over 25,000, which my claim is only, you can report it to the FBI. Right now I'm over 120,000, but I need to add anybody else I can to that list just to give us a little more credence moving forward. But yeah, you got any insightfulness on that, Mitch, or any advice you can give me how I can't get scammed in the future?
Oh man, I think it's due diligence, and it's the relationships again. I mean, I feel like you're kind of like at a few rungs above me as far as like your sourcing and like different things like that. I still, to this day, I mean, I deal with some most of my inventory comes either from the contract holder or kind of the guy that's controlling it for that contract holder. And I just really kind of try to stay in my wheelhouse of what I know is going to work. You got to be careful when you're out there. It seems like people that buy pallets, their next step is they find the Facebook truckload groups, and then, they fall for Joe Blow, who is taking your money. He can't cover the load himself. So if he gets scammed, then you're just out the money. Those relationships and due diligence means more than going to the scammer group. I laugh every time, like, doing my due diligence. Have you heard of such and such? Like, yes, that's great. But like, I mean, cross-reference Facebook and Google, reach out to some other trusted people in the industry, and maybe you got to pay a little bit more for a load that's going to get brokered from them, but they are going to use their quality source. So do you want to pay an extra $200 a load, but know you're going to make thousands? Or do you want to risk it for the biscuit to save yourself $500 and then get smoked? But that's what people, it seems like they pick the latter more than the other way. I just try not to trip over $50 here, $100 there. I stick with the people I know. And I find, I think that's one of our strong suits is like, I will figure out a way to sell it. If it's quality product, you just got to get creative. And that's really why we started curating boxes and why we would just take, stuff and put them in bins. I know that that's not the traditional bin store model, but it still brings people in, and then maybe they buy a mystery box, or, you get to have a conversation with them and find out maybe they need a job and they're great people. I mean, opportunities, and they only come if you're visible, you're talking to people, and doing all those little things that add up to huge results.
Dang. Guys, that was a college education right there in 1 hour and 18 minutes, guys. 1 hour and 18 minutes. This has been great, man. Esteban, roll some questions here. What do we got? Anybody have questions for Mitch? Put them in the chat. Mitch, you can see the chat, right?
Let's see.
I'll bring it on the screen.
Okay.
I'll move to the screen.
I see there's some comments. I can't actually see them. I see Esteban telling me to get closer to this mic.
I'm not on that one. That's the private chat. Let me go to the private chat.
All right. There's a few.
Yeah, I think if you go to the top, there's comments at the top. You can see it.
Yeah, there's plenty of comments. But an actual question: how do you approach whatnot, Mitch? And then there was another one similar.
Yeah, before you answer that, Mitch, this is one of my favorite questions that people ask me. And because they don't have their stack correct, I feel it's hard to answer. What is the best pallet for whatnot?
All right. So I'll say, let me just kind
PS5s, just a bunch of PS5s, right?
Yes, all PS5s. Just go buy that PS5 load, or the MacBook Pro load. Those are out there. Don't buy those. Whatnot for us, guys, whatnot takes work. Like, I feel like it's not for like the faint of heart. Like, our first shows were not great, so what we did really was take inventory that maybe we had already kind of made money on. Maybe we brought in a load for eBay, and then we have kind of middle ground where maybe it doesn't fit for eBay, but we could still use it for whatnot. Maybe we got a great deal on clothing, whatever that might be. I encourage people to take stuff that you can afford to do, like your dollar starts or whatever. And I've got my things with dollar starts. I don't like them, but dollar starts are what gets the bid going. Now, if you put it at $5 starts, you're going to lose a bunch of people. There's going to be a whole lot of people that just aren't going to look because they're just looking for that dollar start. So I don't know if I really go ahead. Sorry.
Is that true? I mean, because I hear the two sides. One, start at $1, and then I hear start at cost. And if you start at cost, you don't lose money, and then you can just recoup. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's visibility. I think it's how are you setting up your shows? Are you working the bookmarks and all the things to make sure that people are getting notified on that next show? I mean, and that's where I do see maybe a niche works a little bit better. There's some people out there with great success and all they do is sell clothes, but we seem when we do a whatnot show, clothing is a bit of a struggle for us. So I really don't feel like we've got that figured out yet. It's one of the areas that we're really focusing on. We need to be better prepared. I think that we really need to have shows scheduled out maybe 2 weeks in advance. So every time you're in there and you're talking to the chat and you're showing your stuff, get them to bookmark and then do giveaways. People love giveaways. So like every 50 bookmarks, you do a small giveaway, people love giveaways on whatnot. I mean,
I do hear that.
You got to give stuff away. I go both ways on the dollar start or starting at cost. I think it's just,
I agree with you, Mitch. I'm conflicted on that too. It's like shit. Too many things sell for $1. You look at the economics of selling something at $1, and now you hope nothing sells at $1, but some stuff does, yeah. Right? And that, you make like 32 cents on. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating there, but you don't make much money on the dollar. But I feel the same way you do, Mitch. Like, I don't like it. We do it, but I don't really know the proper way to do it. Right. I really haven't hammered that down in my mind.
And a buddy of mine, and I'm sure you can, this is what sticks in my mind is in a grocery store, the milk's in the back. They don't make money on the milk, but they make money on all the other stuff you buy in between. So, you've got to kind of have that, what do they call it? A loss lead or lead. Yeah. I don't know the terminology, but you just got to be willing to put in that risk. And that's when volume and transactions come into play for me. It's like, okay, I'm willing to take this like educated or hedged risk and put this stuff at $1, but I'll make it up with the pallets or the bins or the this or the that. So I know that probably doesn't directly speak to whatnot. But another thing is I see it like in the whatnot Facebook group all the time. Oh, I did a show and it was a fail and I'm never going to do this again. But just because it's you doesn't mean people are going to come. Like, you got to give them a reason to come. And really that comes with consistency, bit by bit. Do a show every day. And 2 months from now, I bet you got some followers. But if you quit on that first show, you're right. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, back to the original, like, what's the best pallet for a whatnot seller? I don't know if you're just straight whatnot. I don't know if there is one, because we buy 5 tractor trailer loads of FC a week, process it for whatnot, but 75% of that goes to my bin stores.
Right, exactly.
So it's hard, because the rest just won't sell on whatnot.
Exactly.
So we have that stack. Yeah, go ahead.
It's tough to just say, hey, this is the load for whatnot. I think some type of clothing or something along those lines is going to be, if you wanted just one load that you could say, hey, I can run all of this on whatnot, or like the candy loads. I mean, you can do the boxes that way. But it is very, very hard to just say, hey, buy this load and it's going to be successful. We run like the Walmart high piece count, Walmart medium, some people call them. But there's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit the mold as well. It's too big to ship, or it's going to be too expensive to ship. To your point with FC, there's a ton of great stuff in FC that is what notable, but there's a ton that's not as well. Same with, you get a Lex, what, I don't know if you should say the DC or not, but like the Amazon LPN. I mean, there's going to be a ton of great stuff, but it's just tough to just say, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. People ask us all the time, hey, how do I buy gold and how do I buy it for nothing? And it's just not, guys, it's just not out there. If you're new to this, there's no such thing as gold. And I know somebody, I don't know if somebody just asked, I think in the chat, like, what is, let me see, man, this chat is going fast today. Somebody asked, like, what is the, how much are you making off your loads? 2X, 3X, 4X. And, I'm like, how about 25%? I mean, this is a volume game. The liquidation business
100%. It's got to be volume. I have, I think sometimes with pallet sales, and again, like, this isn't me trying to sound negative, but like, some of these people, I think they think these loads are like $2,000 or something. You're making like $500 a pallet. Like, if I'm getting a $50 to $100 margin on a pallet, that there's not much more room many times, I mean, here and there, we might be able to get a little bit more, but it's volume. We got to move a lot of pallets in order to make some money. And I think people just don't realize the margins that we work on, in liquidation, margins are tight everywhere. It's volume. You got to move a lot. Otherwise you're not going to make it.
Yeah. And we always talk about mark up your pallets, $100 a pallet. Now, some pallets you can get more for, some get less. And it all depends on how you buy it and knowing what the market rate is on a pallet. Sometimes you just get an incredible deal that you can make a little more money on.
Right.
But if you simply operate on $100 a pallet and one truckload, you're making $2,400 a week. If you can move 5 truckloads a week, now you're talking, $12,000 a week in profit that you're making. So it's all about, because if the buyer can't make money, they're not going to come back. They have to make money.
Yeah,
they have to make money, guys. I don't know how we drill that into everybody's head on the pallet sales. They have to make money or they won't come back. And that's where you make your money.
And just think outside the box too. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like years ago, we started doing mini pallets and we took a whole bunch of shit for it because, you're going through everything and taking all the good stuff, but that's not what it was designed for. It was designed for somebody, because a lot of times people are like, man, $500 a pallet, it's a lot of money to them. So we tried to create something that was more like 150 to like 300 a pallet. And we were taking a lot of that stuff that wasn't bad stuff. It was even high value stuff, but it just didn't kind of fit our model. So these people, you'll see, in our group, they're like, I bought a mini pallet for $250 and it had $5,000 retail in it. Now there's maybe some stuff that's a little bit harder to move, but I am trying to set them up for success so they can go out there, double their money, get some lessons learned, and kind of get a system of how they want to do things. And they're able to keep coming back,
That's a great idea. That's actually a great idea. Cause I don't know how many times people say, do you have anything in the $200 range? And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, hey, you're better off saving $1,000 and buying $1,000 pallet. You'll make more money.
Right.
But that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, it's not the main part of our business by any means, but it's just some of that stuff. Like, also I'm sure you run into this. There's not enough time in the day to get to all the inventory we have sometimes. So it just becomes a point of, okay, like, we've made our money on that. Just move it, just get what you can get it out the door and get some more stuff in.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
All right. My name is Origin. I own a retail and online resale business. I'm looking to purchase Amazon return or overstock truckloads on a regular basis. Could you please provide me the information regarding this?
Let me just say something real quick. Hi, Cam A. Esteban's wife's on the chat, so I want to say hi.
Oh, nice.
You didn't see it? Esteban, come on, pay attention. Or Jen, I mean, I think the best thing that you could do is reach out to Mitch or myself, and I don't know where you're at. I try to have the pulse on the Southeast. I'm sure Mitch, you have the pulse on the, around Michigan and
Midwest, whatever. I'd be happy to talk. I mean, or talk to Tom. I mean, whichever. I mean, really, it just starts with kind of a discussion. I would find out a little bit about like where you're at, what kind of budget you have, just all those particulars. Where do you like to sell? Where are you at as a company? And then I try to give suggestions. I mean, in the end, there is risk in this business. Not every load is great, so again, I just try to figure out where you're at in your business and then give you recommendations. And that's one thing, like with truckload sales, so many people are just like, well, send me your list. Well, you're going to look at that list. You're not going to know what you're looking at. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't send a list, but I really do feel it's important to find out. And I learned this in past stuff, you got to kind of self-discover and try to really find what's going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. But the truth is, like, you should know me and Mitch. You should know both of us because we both have a contact list.
Yeah.
We both have our besties, right? We both. Yeah. So it's and probably a couple other guys like us, you should be able to have a bunch of people you can go to every week and say, hey, what do you got? You guys got anything available in Texas? And if I happen to that day get offered a load in Texas, then I'm going to be sending it to you. So,
yeah, I've got probably 6 or 7 people that it's just, those are the people you definitely need more than just one, I think. I mean, because everybody's got their specialties, everybody's got their this or their that. I mean, it's super important to have good people in this industry that you're talking to. I mean, every single day I get offered 15, 20 loads, but they're all from good quality people that I know have my best interests in mind. And the only way we got to that point was talking about stuff,
Yeah, I agree 100%.
There's different regions too. Like you said, Tom, if you didn't have a truckload or you didn't have any merchandise in our area, but you knew somebody in Texas, you call Daniel, or you call, hey Daniel, do you know if this person has this or whatever?
Yeah.
But even like not being greedy, you know what I mean? Like if a team works together and maybe I send a guy to Tom and Tom makes some money. Well, Tom's going to send somebody back to me, 100%. If he's like, oh man, I got this person in the Midwest. Hey Mitch, blah, 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 blah. But if you're just greedy and you're like, oh, well, I don't want Tom to get that $500 or I'm not going to tell him about Tom because I might not get the sale then. Like, you're cutting yourself short of big opportunities down the line.
Right. And I have 6 or 7 contracts that I've locked up, right, that supply my businesses. But sometimes the supply of that is more than I need.
Exactly. Yes.
So I get 5 truckloads of FC a week. I only need 4. So I'm allowed to kick out 1 to somebody who needs an FC truckload. That's why, and Mitch has his own network of truckloads that he has bought out, and sometimes he gets more than what he needs.
Yep.
I don't want to pay an extra $25,000 for a load that I don't need. So if I can ship it to you and make $500, I'd rather do that. And that's why you got to know all these different people in the industry. And, everybody has their own niche, right? Everybody has their own path to success. And we carved that out over years of talking, trade shows, relationships, back and forth, good deals, bad deals. We carved out what works for us, So
yes, sir.
That's why it's best to just reach out to everybody, man. Nobody's got this business on lock.
No.
And you'd be a fool to only deal with one person.
Well, you know how it is, Tom. I mean, every 6 months to a year, I mean, a lot of these contracts, they change hands, so what you might have had something locked in and then it's just gone. So now you got to pivot. So you might as well just get out there and talk to people and find your people that you can trust and just keep talking to people.
Yeah. Don't get on the roller coaster unless you're really willing to ride it, baby.
Yes.
Don't get on it.
Put those hands up and go.
Yeah, I like this. I agree with paying just a little bit more with a trusted buyer, better than getting scammed. I like that.
It just, that's what I do. I mean, I've got people I know that this business can be grimy. We know that. You know, there's a lot of people that just, you know, they'll try to find out what you got and then they try to circumvent. I could go around these people, but I don't. I'm not going to. I am going to hold true to my integrity, and I'm going to let them get their money, and I'm going to get my money, and let the world keep going around. It's not worth it in my eyes to worry about that $50 you might save with way higher risk of possibly getting scammed. And I also think too, like, and I'm not again trying to pick on brokers, but there's a lot of brokers out there that they don't have the cash flow. So they are trying to sell you loads, and sometimes they're overselling loads, or they're doing this or they're doing that. And they don't have the money to give it back to you. It's already spent and gone. And you're gonna learn a really, really hard lesson by trying to save.
That's a very good point. Super good point.
I'm not trying to pick on any brokers out there. I mean,
you're right though.
It happens every day. You got to be careful. I would rather pay an extra $200-$300 for a load and know it's going to show up.
Yeah, I had a broker the other day reach out to me because somebody was upset about the load. The guy wanted a 50% refund, and he said, "I didn't have the money." I'm like, "You shouldn't be brokering. You know, you shouldn't be brokering." But I had a very good point that was going to rock everybody's world, and I think I forgot it. Oh no, I was going to say that you know, the brokers I deal with send me to the facilities to look at the loads because they know that I won't go behind their back.
Right.
And as long as I buy anything out of that facility, they're getting their commission.
Amen. 100%.
That's how much they trust me. That's how much I trust them. And that makes them go find another deal somewhere where I can go visit. I can go look. They're like, "Hey, you want to talk to the owner?" Because they know I'm not going to screw them because I need these guys.
Right.
I need these guys in my life.
And in the beginning, like now kind of probably I'm, you know, similar. I can relate to what you're saying with like, I don't have to chase loads anymore. Like I've got so many great brokers or contract holders just saying, "Hey, I've got an extra this. Hey, I've got this. Hey, I've got that." Like I don't have to spend really a lot of time chasing stuff down unless I'm looking for something unique or different or a value add or whatever. These people know I'm not going to screw with them. I'm going to pay them on time. I mean, if they send me the invoice, I pay it. That's just same day. I want people to know that I know they're working hard for their money. I'm going to put it in their pocket so I can get what I need to make my money.
Yeah. I always wonder how, like, sometimes you hear like big people in the industry, like they're saying like, "Oh, that guy owes me $100,000. I'm like, how? I mean, like, you shipped a load without being paid for it? You know, like how did you do that? You know?
Don't do that.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Do we have any HBA pallets available?
I have a couple, I think, supplement pallets available right now.
Yep. Come through.
I actually do have some HBA. I have a couple CVS and a couple of supplements. So come on down and see me, Erica. Eric Lyncha? I'm not sure.
Hey, guys. Tom, what is your process in finding quality business partners? Also, that guy that scammed seems to be a retired cop.
Ooh.
Retired or fired?
yeah, I would question that, right? What's your process in finding?
Oh man, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, what's your process in finding quality business partners? I think you find somebody that's willing to bust their ass. You watch them bust their ass for over a year, and then you offer to partner with them. You don't do it the other way. You don't know how many people come to me and say, "Hey, you know, why don't you and I open a bin store together?" And I'm like, "I don't want nothing to do with you, right? Because you work with me and you work 11 to 2, and then you think you're going to work 70 hours a week when you open a bin store to protect my money." You know, that's why the people that I partnered with my new bin store, I knew they were hard workers. I knew they were willing to put in the time. I mean, they have slept overnight several times to make sure 200 bins get filled every week. That's the effort they put into it. So I would guarantee you in the last month, 20 people came to me like, why don't you partner with me on a bin store? And, because I got to put up all the capital, you run it, and then we split the money. That's my philosophy. But, what happened in Georgia is I'm up there with my business partner, Stellion, and he's kicking ass. He's kicking ass on his bin store. We go to consult with another bin store who's losing money. I don't know if I've emphasized this. They didn't run it the way that I recommended to run it. I went up there to consult for free because we were hoping they were an exporter. We were hoping to sell loads for their export business. I said, run it like this and you'll be profitable. They declined to do it. 2 months later, they called me up again, said, we can't get it to work. I'm like, let me buy your store. They sold me the store. I partnered with Stellion up there. Week 1, we made $10,000 in profit. Week 1. All I had to do was take the advice that we offer. And I'm not saying I know everything. Mitch, you probably can say the same. I'm not saying I know everything. I've just tried it all. I've tried almost everything in this business. And the process that I do right now works in every one of my stores. Now, this time of year is a little bit more challenging. I'm not going to deny that. But the process works. Follow the process. I get people that come to me and do a 10-hour session and talk to me and blah, 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 blah. And then they go do something different and complain that they failed. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's your choice. Or somebody called me the other day on the phone. It's like, I've been in retail for 25 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, apparently you don't. You're failing. You can't make a profit in your business. Well, the economy sucks. No ice. Ice is the reason. I'm like, all right, man.
Scoreboard. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Earl Nightingale. I remember Earl Nightingale. He was a motivational speaker from the 50s, I think. And he was, he's like, you can't blame it on the rain. You can't blame it on your wife. You can't blame it on the weather. You can't blame it on the crops. You can't blame, there's only one person you can blame it on, and that's yourself, baby. That's right. Yeah. Point that finger right at you.
And that 100%. Is probably one of the biggest things. Like when you asked, like when I got started or kind of, I was telling you a little bit of a midlife crisis or whatever. Like I literally decided everything was my fault. Like no matter what happened, it was my fault. So I was broke and couldn't pay my bills. It's my fault. It's not the guy who this or that or whatever. Like we can blame whoever we want, but in the end, and some of it's true and valid. So I'm not like trying to take that away from people, but you got to get in that mentality of like, regardless of the situation, good or bad, you get to fix it. And if you're not willing to, you're going to get that result. But you're willing to sleep on a couch in your office. You're willing to work overnight to fill 200 bins. That's what it takes. If you want to be successful, that's what it takes. Yeah. A lot of people just, I don't know. I don't know if they think you're just blowing smoke or whatever. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
I would say like 80% of the time a negative life happens because it's self-inflicted. Self-inflicted.
100. Yeah.
It's because you bring negativity in your life and you think that everything is gloom and doom and everyone's out to get you.
Yeah.
It happens, but if you're positive, for the most part, you'll always see the light at the end of the tunnel and you try to dig your way out of it.
This might be a little like too much to share, but like I said, I'm open. Like I have Crohn's, and Crohn's, when you get an outbreak, you will be in the bathroom a lot. And it basically your body is attacking your intestines because it thinks it's foreign. So it's swollen and yada, yada, yada. Last year, I had an outbreak and I would be in the bathroom at work upwards of 20 times a day. So but I didn't have a choice. So I had to show up and I had to work, So now I'm on the right medication and it's getting better. But like, I very easily could have just said, well, I've got this chronic illness and I can't do it because of it. And you know what? There were days I wanted to say that, but in the end, you just you got to figure it out, I don't know. It's just one of those things. You got to put in the work and figure it out regardless.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Let me add. Yeah, my niece has Crohn's, so I've seen the devastation that it has. Family vacation. She's in the hospital for the whole time, and it's a horrible.
We went on a cruise this was a couple months ago. Well, with my Crohn's, one of the medications cause infections. 7 hours out of 4 days, I was in the medical on our cruise getting IV medication. So like we're on this cruise, I can't go on any of the excursions. I'm like down on the ground level, just with an IV in my arm, 3.5 hours twice a day for 4 days of the cruise.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Positive vibes to you, Mitch. Positive vibes from the whole Liquidation Motivation community, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vibes. I love the motivation. I love it. You got to stay fired up and excited.
I will, if I could share no. If I could share, it's hard to follow that up, man. It's hard to follow that up. But I mean, I'm an early investor in crypto. Yep. And, I got in, well, I say early. I'm probably in 2018. So I started investing from my liquidation money, investing in crypto. That money grew to $1.2 million, and I had it in a company called Celsius. Mm-hmm. I woke up one morning and Celsius went bankrupt, and I lost $1.2 million to Celsius in their bankruptcy. 5 years later, I got back $42,000 from that bankruptcy. And, even through that struggle, I didn't lose any sleep because I knew that I'm responsible for my own actions, and it's nobody else's fault that I made that stupid decision. And I think when you have that positive mentality, like you got, Mitch, you can go through the strife of life, and you can be a winner on the other side, man. 100%. Or you can focus on it and say, poor me, and lose at life. So, my hat's off to you, Mitch.
Thanks,
I love you. I mean, this has been one of my most favorite podcasts we ever did with the big bad Mitch. So, man, this did not disappoint me. I'll say that much. This did not disappoint me. I'm super happy for this. This is probably going to be our most viewed live we've ever had, Esteban.
Let's go.
Yeah, we reached almost 100 people.
Nice.
100 live viewers at the same time. That's great, man. That's awesome. All right. So Mitch, how do people reach out to you? How do they get a hold of you? If they want to buy some loads, how do they reach Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, if they just go to liquidation, grpliquidation.com, we've got a live chat right there, and that's kind of the starting point. But I mean, you can call me, you can message me on Facebook. Facebook page, Instagram, any and all of it.
Right. All right. So that is fantastic, Mitch. Mitch, thanks for a great 2 hours of conversation, man. Yeah. I don't think it could have been any better. I hope everybody got value out of that. I'm sure they did. So for me and Esteban, thanks for coming on. Guys, Liquidation Motivation signing out. Now go out there and make some money.
Go get it, guys. Let's go.